Call the Land Bank Board of Trustees meeting to order. Roll call.
Trustee Jennings, Trustee Rogers, Trustee Warren,
Here.
Vice President Spielman,
Here.
and President Ginger.
Here. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda? Seeing none, need a voice vote to approve the agenda as presented?
Any motion? I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
All in favor of approving the agenda, signify with aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Then
People from the audience speak.
what, people from the audience?
Yeah, do we have a
Do
list?
we have anybody that's signed up to speak?
No, they're here for the agenda items.
Okay. Motion for the minutes of the regular meeting as written.
I'll make a motion.
Minutes as written.
I'll second that.
We have a motion as second. Any further discussion regarding the minutes? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. On to business. Okay.
Item 1, approve the transfer of real estate located at 522 North D Street, owned by the R Kansas City Land Bank, to Cowley House of Hope, Inc.
All right, before you tonight is the application from Cowley House of Hope for the property at 522 North D Street. They do meet the basic requirements to purchase a property under this program. The proposal is to put in a duplex on the site. The appraised value for this property is at $2,970. There is a contract and a deed proposed in the packet. We do recommend that we grant the property at no charge because this is a nonprofit entity. We've done that in the past with other nonprofits, Habitat for Humanity. And in addition to 522, staff is making an additional recommendation that we also grant 518 North D, which is the property just to the south of it, because we feel that it's probably going to be difficult to transfer that property by itself with this other one already developed. And it also gives Cowley House of Hope a little bit more room to move their site around. They did not apply for that. That's just our recommendation as staff. Other than that, I'm open to any questions. And also, I should also mention that Todd Bennett with Cowley House of Hope is here to discuss the proposal if you have any questions for him.
Well, I'd like to hear from him before we make any decision.
Sure.
Do you have the drawings and the application?
Sir, you might wait just a second. We got another commissioner coming in.
I apologize. Just couldn't get out of the office.
You'll have to.
I had a similar problem. So
Hey, even when you block off, it never happens.
So Cowley House of Hope is a homeless initiative here in Cowley County. We're trying to alleviate homelessness issues and create sustainable solutions to the homeless problem. There are a lot of supporting issues that create homelessness, some of which we can't deal with, most of which we don't deal with, but we do refer to all the other agencies in the county that deal with things like addiction, alcoholism, mental illness, and as well as agencies that can help people find disability and get on food stamps and the other mid-cap applications for permanent types of housing. So, we only provide emergency shelter, especially during COVID. We have several calls. In fact, when I live here, I have to go check someone into a hotel. We've established a phone line, Facebook page, email, all sorts of contacting ways for people to contact us and access emergency housing. Like I said, right now, all we have access to is hotel rooms, which is expensive. That's one of the most expensive ways to house people. And so we're only able to do emergency housing a night or two at a time during the cold weather. I think the next 3 nights are going to be single digits, so there will be several people that will put in a hotel for 3 nights while it's bitter cold. This proposal, this lot would be used for, like Josh said, a duplex. Phase 1 of the duplex would be in a single family dwelling, big enough to house 4 people, basically an overgrown hotel room.
So it'd be people that they don't even know each other?
No. Single family. Up to 4 people.
Okay,
Not a group home.
okay.
This is a single family. It's just like a hotel room. There wouldn't be unrelated people in the same room. Each side of the duplex would be a single family dwelling. Meets all the code for, like I said, up to 4 people. It would be basically a bedroom, a kitchenette, and a bathroom.
So how long will they stay there?
Right now, like I said, we're only doing emergency housing. So it would only be a few days while we get referrals to MidCap. MidCap requires that they be housed on someone else's dime for 3 nights in order to qualify for emergency rapid rehousing. And MidCap would give them the funding or help them find a rental or low income housing and the other more permanent solutions. So this is only a short-term housing, not a long-term dwelling.
Well, short term, I mean, a week or, I mean.
Not over a week right now. It's just 2 or 3 days. Right
Okay, what happens like in the summertime when it's warmer weather out there and stuff?
Right now, we haven't been housing anyone during the summer.
So basically, this would be cold weather type housing or?
Cold weather or inclement if it's rainy. We've only been using the hotels in the winter right now, November 1st through April 30th, and nights that are below 30 degrees. We have provided tents through Angels in the Attic to people in the other weather, in the nicer weather. And I'm not sure that's a real sustainable plan. We've worked closely with the police and city to come up with ways that we can avoid attracting homeless. Since it's only emergency housing, it's not a long-term plan. It'll never be like Open Door to Top where you have a collection of vagrants that sit on the doorstep waiting for us to open it.
Is Winfield doing anything like this up there? I mean.
We're a countywide organization, and yes, we're working on the same thing in Winfield, but Winfield doesn't have a lot of things. So we're looking for lots in Winfield, and we would use the same model, short-term emergency type housing, just to get people a long-term solution through one of the other agencies. We're going to have to kick them out the following morning or 2 mornings later, whenever their time is up. But this would give us access to something that we can control. We're not at the mercy of the hotels. Right now, if we put someone in a hotel and they party or cause problems, smoking or something, then we often lose the access to that hotel.
So how many families right now are you talking about that's in this area that needs that kind of shelter? I mean, in the Cowley County?
We have one tonight that will be checked in Winfield for 3 nights because of the freezing weather. And we have one that's called and requested help in our city. And we're waiting on one of our volunteers to interview We have to interview them and make sure that they don't have other resources. There's a tendency when they hear that we're using hotels to want a vacation. They'd like a nice room with a breakfast and for a couple of nights.
So who puts them up? Like, you said there's going to be a kitchen there. Who supplies them the food? I mean, how's all this thing work? I mean, you bring the food into them?
Actually, no, we're not a food provider. We would refer.
Well, if they don't have any money, how are they going to get? I mean, how are they going to eat?
We have to build a kitchen because it's code.
Yeah.
And we will have to refer them to the other resources for food. There are free meals, I think 4 or 5 nights a week here in our city. Winfield only has 2 nights a week. A lot of them have access to food stamps, but they can't afford rent or utilities. Some of them have food with them. Angels in the Attic has resources for food and clothing and other things. We're only trying to provide the housing just to keep them from freezing to death.
Well, I think you came to our meeting. I'm not trying to be, I'm just talking out loud. I'm trying to figure all this thing out.
Sure.
But you came to our meeting, or I don't know if you did, but we had that meeting, Josh, 4 or 5 months ago down at the water plant on this kind of same issue.
Yes.
And I know Dan Ward, our police chief at the time, he was kind of against that because it brings in transients, in this area because, once you get housing, it seems like it feeds, to different areas. And then all of a sudden you got all these people coming to us and you got to deal with them. I mean, I'm just talking out loud. Is that right or not?
That can happen.
Yeah.
In larger cities where they are offering group homes, Wichita is a prime example.
Yeah.
Downtown, they have several agencies that provide day housing, and they have some that provide night housing, and they have some that provide free meals. So there is a population that will just hang around there and wait for day housing, and then at night.
That's what he was talking about.
And then wait on the free meals in the same area, which is why we're not trying to provide long-term housing. We need to refer them to another agency and get them permanent housing or move on. And
How do you evict them? I mean, once they get in there, if they don't want to leave, do you bring the police in, or how do you get them out?
well, I would hope we wouldn't have to work with the police. It'd be like a hotel room.
Okay.
They have to check out at
Okay.
8 or 9 in the morning. And we've not had an issue with the hotels. When it's time to leave, they leave. Any complaints are made.
What on their leaving do they get money where are they traveling, going somewhere else, or are they just caught in this area?
Most of these people are already here.
Okay.
They've been staying with a family member who runs out of rent. They've been staying with a friend who's getting evicted. They've been staying with a distant relative who can't pay their utilities. That was one of the phone calls I got today. They were staying with a friend. Friend hadn't paid their utility bill for a couple of months, so their utilities were off. They were cold tonight, so they're looking for some other alternative. And we refer them to other agencies. Helping Hands in Winfield will provide utility money. So if we don't have to house them, we'll get them the other solution first. We're kind of the last ditch effort just to keep them from freezing to death.
Carl, you're on the Ministerial Alliance. What do you think? On this thing?
Well, it's interesting. Thank you. Couple of things. I don't know. Sorry, I got here a little late, but I don't know if that was brought up. For example, last year during what we called the polar vortex between in the county between our Kansas City and Winfield, House of Hope actually provided about 132 or 3 room nights for folks who have been roughing it, been innovators, sleeping in tents, sleeping in cars. But when you get to 8 degrees or 4 degrees below zero, that's just not a habitable thing. The prospect, the core of this, I don't think it's so ideological as it is humanitarian. We just don't want to become as one of the cities that let people freeze to death on the street when it could be avoided. I keep saying we. With the Alliance, I volunteer with the House of Hope. I actually do the intake. When we quantify the condition, we don't excuse people who are just being irresponsible. my interview includes what's next. We get your room tonight, what's different tomorrow, that type of thing. So it is very much, the core of it is just emergency placement and not just convenience housing. And it has been, I'll tell you again, a piece of narrative with that is we had less of this problem before the Salvation Army did this exodus with us and created a small partnership in the community. They used to do a lot of placement for people in times of distress. When that money went away from us, the need didn't. And so another piece of what we do is sometimes the answer, I'm sorry, I keep saying we, another piece of what I do, the answer is, hey, let's get you to a place that can actually meet your needs. And so we have relocated some people to Wichita to their homeless shelter, or at least to other resources there where they can function. You know, it's sadly in some instances it is population leaving our Kansas City or Cowley County, but we don't have the resource to meet all of the human needs they might have. You know, sometimes it's rehabilitation, sometimes it's mental health counseling, sometimes it's just becoming a functional human. They've fallen off the grid, becoming a functional human being once again, and needing somebody to counsel them through how to apply for a job, how to get a job, maybe coach them a little bit as they work through trying to become a stable employee, that type of thing. So it isn't all here, and it isn't like a passion just to keep homeless people in the community. It's really just to say we don't want them to mock us on CNN as having popsicle people found on the streets because they had nowhere else to go. It's the objective is really emergency housing, and some other ministries can go with it once they have an establishment. I just know the benefit economics of it is one facility with one cost is a lot more practical than a room night per person at a hotel rate.
Well, I just don't want to make sure it doesn't, like Wichita transitory, where you get something set up and then everybody, they hear about it and everybody comes in and we got a problem,
that's more the hotel problem. Yeah. it's people find out about hotel rooms and all of a sudden
Right. This won't be nearly as nice. Cool.
Yeah.
No free breakfast.
No free breakfast.
So where's the money going to come from to build this duplex?
Donors. We have churches and
Okay.
individuals.
How much money have you got raised for this so far?
Over $50,000.
Okay.
We've been working through this for 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
And I think we is fair because although Charles does the vast majority of the intake in our city, there are other volunteers doing it in Winfield, primarily me. So as a group, Cowley House of Hope are working toward being the contact, sort of a central point.
And you're the person in charge of the whole thing?
I'm the treasurer.
Okay.
And by default, somehow they.
Who's the person in charge of it?
Bradley Gamber is the president of our board.
Okay. Is he from Winfield or?
He's a Winfield guy. One other thing.
He's the director of Winfield Housing.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. One other thing to keep in mind in terms of the referrals, some do get a hold directly of Cowley House of Hope. Some are referred by other ministers. I get calls from other pastors say, is there anything you can do to help this family out? Some are referred. I get a minimal number of calls from ACPD saying, hey, we got somebody, they have nowhere to go. They're out on the street. It's going to be really cold tonight. Can you guys get them off the street? Is there anything you can do to get them off the street? So actually, this operation has been kind of supportive of the York City Police and the Cowley County Sheriff's Department. I've gotten calls from both agencies, law enforcement agencies, saying this isn't the person that needs to be arrested, but they need to be off the street before the temperature drops down to 10 degrees.
And the flip side of that sometimes is people who are desperate do desperate things. And we don't want them to be that desperate. We would like to have a safe place to stay. There are also families escaping violence or other things. Sometimes children are involved. That's why it's occupancy before. It's not always that single transient. And we would refer them to Safe Homes or some other group so that they can move on after we've sheltered them one night. If you're interested, I have the floor plans and elevations and site plan for the location. To speak to your goals as a land bank, it is a vacant property, and we are going to build within months. If we get this lot to build on, we partnered with Cowley construction crew, Brian Patterson. We buy the materials. He and his crew are looking for a project. They would donate the labor. Could be built within just a few months, and you have tax base back, and we'd be paying taxes within the tax year.
What do you mean paying tax off? That's just tax exempt.
We're a nonprofit. We're self-paying property tax.
No.
We're sales tax exempt.
Is that right? I mean, Josh?
You shouldn't have to. 501c3?
Correct.
You'll be exempt from property tax. Yeah.
Okay, then yeah, I talked to the county person first, but yeah, I think into that with the county appraiser.
Okay. Because I've worked with, that'd be great if we.
Josh, is there people living in that area? I mean, around this property? I mean, housing? I mean.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Is there houses around this property? Have you talked to those people about this? I mean,
The lot next to it is. You see there, the North D. This is 518, the lot next to it that he was proposing you can include in the deal, but there is a home over here, and there's, I think it's a home back here. It might be.
okay, so you're quite a ways off.
Is this something that we have to decide tonight? Something that can be tabled while?
Madam Mayor, since I'm kind of new to this situation, I'd kind of like to look into it just a little bit further. Personally, I'd like to see the property itself and what we're giving up tax-wise before I make a decision. So I'd like to move at this time. We table this till our next meeting.
If it approves through here, we still have to go through the city commissioner. Is it done?
It's done.
It's done. That's right. That's my question.
It's land bank property.
That's what I thought. That's my next.
Well, we had that discussion 6-7 months ago, and probably what we ought to do is, I'm just talking out loud, is maybe have a work session on this particular item, just talk about it a little bit more, I know Charles just came in and, I don't know.
It'd be nice to let the neighbors at least let them know what's the plan is for that lot, not so much because we will or won't, but if I lived in there, it'd be nice for them to have an idea of what the purpose is. I mean, that's just my 2 cents, but.
We could have it we can have a work session, have it on our next agenda meeting, meeting.
11th.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we have a motion to table. Do we have a second?
We got someone going to say the prayer. Thank you.
Trustee Spillman.
Made the motion.
But we'd have to have our special land bank too, it would again, only.
Yeah, we would.
How would you, you'd have to.
Okay.
Then we can do that, right? I mean, we can have it anytime we want to. Okay, all right.
Any additional discussion regarding tabling?
Who seconded it?
She said.
Diana,
I made the motion. We need a second.
we need a second.
Second.
We have a second. Any additional discussion? All in favor signify with aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion's tabled.
Please.
Approve a transfer of real estate located at 801 North Dutch Street, owned by the Arkansas City Land Bank, to Kenneth and Marvelene Davis.
All the county.
All right, this property, the Davises are proposing to put up a shop building on the property. It is zoned industrial, so that will be allowed in that area. It is a little bit of floodplain, but Mr. Davis feels that he could avoid that area causing issues there.
Sales tax.
The county appraised value for this one is at $3,800. And again, if you get in a purchase contract are in the packet. Staff would recommend that we transfer it to them for the appraised value. However, Mr. Davis has requested that it be transferred to him for $1. And so I invited him today to make his case.
But still, I mean, one question. We don't have any other costs other than the appraisal price on it, right? On the property?
It's about I think it's an acre.
My turn. What I want to do is put a shop building on there and put electric to it, water, so I can have a restroom in there and just work out of it myself and do what I want to do in there.
What size of building?
Somewhere around a 30 by 60. I'd like to build a builder, but big builder, bigger.
Build bigger.
And, but it costs too much. Price of wood and everything nowadays costs way too much.
So it'll be a cement floor and
Be a
everything?
concrete floor,
Yeah.
and then they'll put the footings around it or underneath the ground. I'm planning on having Mike Neal build it. I haven't talked to him yet.
Well,
It's located, do we have any idea what the property value around this is?
Not really. A lot of that area is also kind of industrial. Like to the north of it is a couple other kind of warehouse type buildings, kind of older ones. And then to the south of that is the 2 solar towers. So
It's way down there.
well, you know, it's something to getting back on the tax roll. It looks like this building probably going to be probably $75,000-$100,000 building time you have a cement floor and everything in it. So it's going to be a fairly expensive building.
I know.
And we, you know, it's off the tax rolls right now. I think we ought to just sell it for $1 and let him have it. And I make that motion.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
When do I gotta pay $1?
Well, we haven't passed it yet. We're voting on it right now.
All in favor,
The bribe or what?
all in favor signify with aye. All opposed, same sign.
Now you can pay your $1.
Motion carries unanimously.
I don't know.
Guys,
City treasurer?
It don't have to be today, I don't think, does it?
That would have to be today.
don't have to be today. Come up and pay Josh later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that it?
And Josh, it's definitely want to do that today.
You signing anything?
Judge,
Do what?
I have it all.
You're done.
Anything?
Follow up with you.
You're done.
we'll take care of that.
Okay.
As far as the sales plan,
Mhm.
I don't have any other items other than the sales plan.
Do we need to talk about this or do we want to postpone this to our next bank meeting on the next Tuesday? Because,
In 2 weeks.
yeah, 2 weeks, we're ready for our main meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Okay.
can do that.
All
I'll make a
right.
motion, we table the land bank sales plan for 2022 and any bylaws and policy directives till next meeting.
Second it.
So moved and seconded that we table the discussion. All in favor signify with aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Adjourn.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn to our next city commission meeting.
Second.
Second. We have a motion and a second. We adjourn to the city commission meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.